Today in the battle arena, well, we've got Godzilla, king of the monsters. Biggest, baddest guy out there.
A god, for all intents and purposes.
And who's he going up against? Well, it's like the biggest, baddest dragon in Middle-earth, Smaug. So who's winning? Who's coming out on top here? Let's find out. What's up, guys? I'm Daniel. This is Danco. Thank you so much for watching the channel. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, the subscribe button, and turn notifications. More videos like this one every week. Also, go follow us on TikTok, Instagram, all that. Link in the description down below. And sign off in the comments for any future videos that you love to see. Now let's get into the fight. So it is currently 12 o'clock in the morning, and I was nestled up in bed with Rizzo, just sleeping away, and I got a text. And it's one of those drama-filled texts, late-night text, where you look at it and you're like, God, I'm not getting any sleep, am I? I'm not getting any sleep until sorted out, am I? And so I had a choice, and so I decided to lean into it, to be productive with it, and spend it with y'all. So I put on a pot of coffee, nestled in. These are literally my pajamas. And here we are. It's either that or play this new hunting game that I got for Cyber Monday that I'm actually super excited about. But that one's currently downloading on the PS4. So again, here I am. All right, so where are we going to start? Godzilla or Smaug? Let's start with Smaug. Let's talk about him for a little bit. Might have to do a bit more explaining for him. Might have to make a stronger case for him when. Let's talk about Smaug. And I actually got to backtrack here for a second, talk about dragons in Middle-earth as a whole. So dragons were bred by Morgoth, the precursor to Sauron, the first Dark Lord, literally the primordial source of evil. But it's actually debatable about where these dragons came from in the first place. There are basically two trains of thought here. One, dragons are simply Maiar, powerful ancient spirits in the form of dragons, just like Balrogs are Maiar in the form of fire and darkness, and wizards are them in the form of men. The second theory says the Maiar took the form of a reptile and then went around sleeping with all of the reptiles that they could find. And then, as a result of all the sleeping around, the dragons were born somewhere down the line from there. Those are basically the two trains of thought. It doesn't really matter which one's right. I lean more towards the second one. It doesn't really matter though. The point I'm trying to make here is that dragons are insanely powerful. That's just the baseline for how powerful dragons are over in Middle-earth. They're on par with dudes like Gandalf and Balrogs. Morgoth, literally the embodiment of evil, recognized their power, and they were a key part in his army. Any dragon you run across is just going to be insanely powerful. And Smaug is no exception. He was a flying fire drake, meaning he could fly and he could breathe fire. Which I mean that's kind of obvious in the name, but there are a lot of different dragon types in Middle-earth. Ones that can fly but can't breathe fire, ones that can breathe fire but can't fly, ones that can't do either. They can't fly or they can't breathe fire. Some don't even have arms and legs. They just slither around like giant worms. So yeah, you do have to be a little specific about which type you're talking about here. Anyways, Smaug, like most all dragons, was obsessed with treasure. And so, of course, he'd heard about all the treasure that the dwarfs are hoarding under the Lonely Mountain. And so one day, Smaug thought to himself, I kind of want to have all that treasure. Yeah, that looks good to me. And so he destroyed the nearby city of Dale and conquered the Lonely Mountain, driving all the dwarves into exile while he was at it. And that's where he stayed. For the rest of his life, Smaug holed up inside that mountain, keeping all that treasure to himself. Till a small company of dwarves, along with one little hobbit, managed to enter into the mountain and wake Smaug up. And this is where we get to see what Smaug can really do. I mean, for starters, he's clocking in at exactly 141 meters. or 462 feet, which would actually make him slightly bigger than Godzilla, but we'll talk about that more in a second. He's stronger than most dragons, so that means that a lot of stuff like rock and concrete and iron and everything, it's basically like absolutely nothing to him. He can just charge right through it, knock it over, no problem. I mean, just the force of him flying is enough to knock over and crack trees in half. He's strong enough to shake the mountain roots, which I don't know what Tolkien was talking about when he said mountain roots, but they sound important. Then he's strong enough to destroy part of the Lonely Mountain itself. Durability, though, well, that might not be his strongest suit. Not saying that he's not tough, it's just that he never really went up against anything that can scale to Godzilla and what Godzilla's going up against. He never really went up against anything that can scale to the military, and Godzilla's able to brush that off like it's nothing. I mean, he's facing off against arrows, comparing his scales to like shields. He's boasting that no sword can pierce him. Godzilla is taking nuclear bombs to the face. You are just operating on way different scales there. Best Smaug ever really did was take a bunch of molten gold to the face and not flinch. Which, I mean, that's super cool. That's awesome. Of course, it's kinda also undercut by being killed with one hit from an arrow. Like, if you're a dragon and Hawkeye can kill you, you might not be that tough. And then last but not least, well, Smaug is a dragon, so yeah, he's pretty good at the whole fire breathing thing. Like, really good at the fire breathing thing. Destroying buildings, burning down whole towns. Yeah, he's got fire breathing locked down. But then there's Godzilla, the king of the monsters. And man, is there really a cooler nickname than King of the Monsters? That's gotta be up near the top, right? The thing is, he's lived up to that nickname time and time again. He's consistently proven that he's the most powerful Titan, the biggest, baddest monster out there. And really, for this fight, he's got three things going for him: his strength, his durability, his atomic breath. Now, when it comes to strength, well, Godzilla is just big. He's just chunky. He's just hefty. Like, remember Moto Moto from Madagascar 2?
I like 'em chunky. I like 'em big. I like 'em lumpy.
That's Godzilla. He's coming in at 400 feet tall and over 100,000 tons. So a little shorter than Smaug, but a whole lot heavier. He's been packing those pounds away. And so when you're that big, well, it makes pretty easy to absolutely level cities. Just casually walk right through buildings. He's busted up skyscrapers by literally pushing other kaiju just straight through them. Done this just a ton. It's like his go-to move. Godzilla's even plowed King Ghidorah through skyscrapers. And the big guy weighs 140,000 tons. Ghidorah outweighs Godzilla. He's bigger than Godzilla, and yet Godzilla's still able to mess him up. He's also got a pretty powerful bite. Like, you do not want to get stuck in between those teeth. Seeing as how he's able to chomp down on one of Ghidorah's heads and tear it off completely. Even his tail. He's outright killed a Muto of one swing. Accidentally knocked over a skyscraper while he was at it. The thing about Godzilla isn't that he's just insanely strong, he's also insanely durable. He's insanely tough, and a lot of that does come down to his size. He's so big that a lot of smaller attacks aren't going to move him around. So you gotta be another big kaiju too, in order to really give him any trouble. But even then, how much do those attacks really do? He's taken beatings from Mutos and Kong, even from King Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla. And yet, you want to know who was the only guy left standing through all of it? Yeah, it was Godzilla. It's kinda hard to argue with a track record like that. He survived the Castle Bravo nuke, which is like one of the largest nukes in history. In King of the Monsters, he survived another nuke. This time, he took it directly to the face. Then in a tie-in comic, he survived the Permian impact, which is actually just a huge step up from even taking nuclear bombs to the face. Because this meteor was a thing that wiped out the dinosaurs. It's like an extinction level event. And what's Godzilla do but take it on the head and just keep on swimming? So yeah, when I say tough, I mean it. And then to top it all off, as if it wasn't enough to just be insanely strong, like the toughest thing alive, Godzilla's also got his atomic breath. It's so powerful that it's able to kill a Muto and manage to push back and burn King Ghidorah. And just from the looks of it, it looks like it's getting more and more powerful with each and every movie. I mean, in Godzilla vs. Kong, the big guy was using it to burrow down all the way to the Earth's core, which is kind of insane to think about. Like, it does kind of throw the math off because we're working with a hollow Earth over in the Monsterverse, but let's just say our real life Earth. If Godzilla did that, Godzilla would have to drill through 4,000 miles of Earth in order to get to the core. So yeah, safe to say Godzilla is pretty powerful. And he's just more powerful than Smaug here in like every way. He's stronger than Smaug, he's tougher than Smaug. I'm taking atomic breath over fire breathing 10 times out of 10 every day of the week. It's like comparing Derrick Henry or Myles Garrett or Aaron Donald. It's like the kicker or the punter. Sure, might be on the same team, might be playing the same game, but they are very different. I'm sitting here thinking, and the only argument I can try and think of to say that Smaug wins this fight is you gotta go back to the beginning when I said that Smaug might be a Maiar in dragon form. Then you gotta argue that they are so ancient and so powerful that Godzilla can't beat them in dragon form even. And that just falls apart if you think about it for longer than like 2 seconds. I mean, for starters, Smaug and dragons probably aren't actually Maiar. They're more than likely descendants of them. And even if he was, clearly Smaug isn't unkillable. There's nothing here to suggest that Godzilla can't just instantly bring Smaug down out of the sky. And besides, he's already fought a way more powerful dragon in King Ghidorah. A dragon who's like his number one enemy, his arch nemesis. Yeah, this one's pretty easy for me. Godzilla wins. But what do y'all think? Sign off in the comments down below. Who do you think wins this fight? Godzilla versus Smaug. Who do you think wins? Sign off down below. Also be sure, hit that like button, the subscribe button, turn notifications from the Fanco army, and I will see y'all next time.